My name's Amanda Lister, and I am a prevention trainer for West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service. My job role includes creating packages for schools to educate pupils and staff about how to prevent certain accidents happening, which could result in having to call 999 for our firefighters to come and rescue you. These include home fire safety, water safety, road safety, and bonfire night safety. This talk is one of them. I want to start this talk by mentioning the importance of our firefighters. Aside from fire rescue, our firefighters do many other rescues and roles as part of their job. Road traffic collisions, rescuing people who are stuck after a car crash, water rescues, they deal with wildfires, visit schools for various talks, complete safe and well visits in vulnerable people's homes, fitting smoke alarms and helping residents keep safe by giving them fire safety advice, amongst many other things. Firefighters become firefighters as they have a passion for helping people. People like you. They are your local heroes who come to work every day willing to risk their lives to save yours. Unfortunately, some people don't appreciate their everyday sacrifices, which we will learn more about in this talk. Please remember, they are here to try and help keep you safe. They all have families, and some are parents too, yet they continue to selflessly risk their lives for you. They deserve a lot of respect for all that they do. So what are the aims of this talk today? I want you to have a think about what day is approaching. Bit of a clue in the corner in the image. So yes, bonfire night is approaching, which is a very exciting time. However, today in this talk, by the end, we hope that you will have learnt about the dangers of bonfires and fireworks, learnt what hoax calls are and what ASB is, and learnt about the consequences. Remember, the primary aim of being a firefighter is to save lives and help make communities safer. Last year, West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue attended 427 incidents around bonfire period. These will have been to do with bonfires and fireworks, some accidental, some deliberate. This is on top of other incidents such as car crashes, house fires and water rescue. 427 is a huge number, especially when you think that that is only in West Yorkshire. We need to get that number down. Bonfire dangers. Why are bonfires so dangerous? Pause the video and put your hand up to talk to your teacher about why you think bonfires are so dangerous. Pause the video now. Thinking about the things you've just mentioned to your teacher, I now want you to look at this image and talk to the person next to you about all the things you can see in this image that look dangerous to you. What makes this situation dangerous? Please pause the video now. Let's see how many of the suggestions you have come up with are the same as ours. First of all, the bonfire is too close to the wooden fence. Being this close to a wooden fence could mean that the heat from the bonfire could cause the fence to become too hot as well, and any sparks hitting the fence could cause it to alight, causing a huge fire that would spread and escalate into a very serious situation. These people are far too close to the bonfire. Bonfires can reach temperatures of over 600 degrees Celsius. Again, getting too close means your clothes could catch fire. It can also damage your breathing tubes or respiratory tract, causing infections. You should really be at least 15 metres away from a bonfire. There is rubbish spread out on the floor too close to the bonfire. These bits of rubbish could add fuel to the fire, as they could quite easily catch alight and cause the bonfire to spread, which could then easily get out of control. Any cans or bottles can also build up pressure inside when getting too hot, which can cause an explosion too. The bonfire is alight on grass. Grass can quite easily cause a fire to spread if it is dry and gets too hot. There is no fire breaker around this bonfire, meaning the grass could very well catch alight and spread, which could have catastrophic effects. Some of the people are sat with their backs to the fire. Not only are they also too close to the fire, but by not facing it, they will be slower to react to any further sudden dangers that may arise unexpectedly, meaning the chance of them getting hurt is increased dramatically. Assuming this bonfire wasn't lit straight after it was built, there is a high chance that wildlife could be using it as shelter, possibly even hibernating in there. Or there could be a local cat sheltering in there. Has anybody checked? Probably not. Warning: you're about to see a short video of a bonfire exploding. Please look away and cover your ears if you do not wish to watch or hear. This video shows an adult setting alight a bonfire for a school celebration at a relatively safe distance from everyone. But watch what happens. Quite scary, isn't it? That bonfire had been a school tradition for 50 years. Nothing like this had ever happened before. The cause of the explosion is unknown. The school district said no one was injured in the explosion, but bonfires and similar events are now prohibited or banned at that school. The fact that the cause of the explosion is unknown highlights that accidents cannot be predicted. Do you think that the school would have gone ahead with this bonfire had they known what would happen? Of course not. The point is, we never know when something might go wrong. Think back to the image of the bonfire. Think about how many people could have been seriously injured or even lost their lives had a similar explosion taken place in that scene, given how close they all were. Would you take the risk? Firework dangers. So why are fireworks so dangerous? As before, please pause the video to discuss with the person next to you and your teacher what makes fireworks so dangerous. Please pause the video now. Hopefully, at least one of you has pointed out that fireworks are essentially explosives. They are not toys. Messing around with fireworks can lead to many injuries, including the loss of fingers or hands. If a firework was to explode in your hand, it would very likely destroy your hand. It could mean you need to have it amputated, or it could make it completely deformed and possibly unusable, or at the very least leave you with severe burns and loss of skin, leaving you permanently scarred. Not only could a firework exploding near you or in your hand leave your hand permanently scarred, it could also leave you with irreversible burn damage to other parts of your body, most commonly your face and upper body, causing your reflection to be unrecognisable to you. It could also cause you to become blind due to eye damage. All of these damages would be permanent. Needing skin graft surgery for the rest of your life due to burns, possibly on your face or body, or both. If your burns are of the most severe kind, you may be in and out of hospital for years as you undergo skin graft surgery. This is where skin is removed from other parts of your body to try and replace the skin you have lost due to severe burns. It will never look the same. The agony you would face due to any of these injuries would probably be the worst pain you have ever felt, and it could take weeks, if not months, or maybe never, for that pain to disappear entirely. Warning: you're about to see a short video of fireworks exploding. Please look away and cover your ears if you do not wish to watch or hear. This is a group of adults setting off bought fireworks from what they believe to be a safe distance away from friends and family, including children. But again, watch what happens.
Who did that? You gotta put it in the shoe.
Another scary scene. Fireworks can also go wrong, even when you're trying to be as safe as possible. Only a few sparks landed in the remaining fireworks to cause this catastrophe. Again, like the bonfire video, these adults were trying to be safe, but they were just not safe enough. Although everyone escaped without injury, it's at least cost them a car. And had it been a crowded event, they wouldn't have escaped so easily. They didn't plan this event knowing this would happen, or they wouldn't have done it. But that's the thing with accidents. We don't know when they are going to happen, or otherwise we'd avoid it. I want you to imagine you're with two mates about to mess around with either a bonfire or fireworks. Each one of you is represented by one of these dice. Imagine now that each number on a dice is matched to the severity of your injuries after playing with bonfires or fireworks. 1 being no injury at all, to 6 being the end of your life. I now want you to choose a colour dice and decide which person you are. Person 1, the green dice, person 2, the yellow dice, or person 3, the white dice. The dice are going to roll 6 times. I want you to count how many times you roll a 6 in those rolls. Remember, 6 represents the loss of your life. Are you ready? Let's go. Put your hand up if you rolled a 6. Now keep your hand up if you rolled a 6 more than once. So, all of you have rolled a 6 at least once in only 6 rolls, representing the loss of your life. Let's take a look at how many times 6 came up for each person, and then how soon that 6 came up. Pause the video to discuss the results with the person next to you and your teacher. Then we will look at what those results represent. Please pause the video now. Let's take a look at the grid. By only the third roll, every person has rolled a 6. So with each of the first 3 rolls, one of you died with no safe rolls in between. Person 3 even rolled a 6 on the first roll. And person 1 rolled a 6 4 times out of 6. Everyone has also rolled a 5 in those rolls, which would be the equivalent to serious life-changing injuries and a long time in hospital. Only one person rolled a 1. That wasn't even until the very last roll. With each roll, either you or one of your friends ended up with an injury every single time. Playing with bonfires or fireworks is like rolling a dice to gamble with your life, letting the dice decide whether or not your life will end or change dramatically. Why take the risk? Don't roll the dice. You can't guarantee what number you will roll. Messing around with fireworks can result in somebody's death. It could be you. Or it could be a friend. Could you live with yourself knowing that they died because of you? You might know someone, or maybe even you have messed around with fireworks before. But to continue to do so, it's like rolling a dice. You don't know what number you'll roll, just like you won't know what could happen if you mess with fireworks or bonfires. You are gambling with your life. As we said earlier in those videos where a bonfire and fireworks went wrong, they didn't know the accident was going to happen. It just did. In the bonfire one, they'd had 49 years of it not going wrong. They weren't expecting it at all. It only takes one time for it to all go wrong. Don't roll the dice and gamble with your life. You only have one. Consequences of playing with fire or fireworks. 1 bonfire, 1 home destroyed. You have seen how bonfires and fireworks can go wrong, even when the intentions were genuine and just trying to have a good time. Playing around with bonfires or fireworks can lead to someone losing their life, bonfires getting out of control or exploding, causing serious damage to property that may or may not be yours. Someone could lose their home and all their belongings, which could also include their pets and loved ones. Serious and life-changing injuries to you or someone else. Don't be responsible for destroying a family or your community. What would you say to these people if you were the reason or even part of the reason? Would you be prepared for the upset it would cause the community in which you live? A lot of people would be very angry and upset. You could also end up with a criminal record or even time in prison on top of all of this, possibly spoiling any future plans you may have. Is it worth a lifetime of after effects for a few moments of fun with your mates? Now let's look at bonfire and firework dangers for firefighters. Every year, firefighters and other emergency workers come under attack by members of the public. This is especially around bonfire night. This isn't just in our area, but all over the country. Firefighters are firefighters because they want to help people and save lives. They're not there to tell you off or to tell you what to do, but they simply want to help keep you and your family safe. The following video highlights the dangers emergency service workers face around bonfire night. This isn't a one-off. It happens every year across the UK.
So on the evening of November the 5th, bonfire night, we were expecting a busy night. We hadn't had too many calls up until the time we got a call at 10:30. We were called to a building fire within the Danes House area, one of our highest category of calls, which meant that we sent both our fire engines from Burnley. As we approached the area, we turned onto the street where we believed the fire was, and we saw motorbikes weaving, and we thought something wasn't right, at which point we had a couple of fireworks fired at us.
Driving around a bend going towards an incident and being met with fireworks coming straight at the car, which then flew over the windscreen and luckily went past us. But yeah, it's quite fearful, really, you know, a bit of a shock.
They got attacked. We got sent back into Abel Street after a Hawks call was called to say there was a person on fire in the road. Our job was to sort of get eyes on to see whether it was a Hawks or not, and at that point we got surrounded by approximately 40 or 50 people.
On our arrival, we not even had a chance to get out of the van, and we started getting fireworks fired at our van. One blew up on the windscreen right in front of me. There was some bouncing off, there was some going off into the rest of the crowd.
We were getting rockets fired at the car, the bricks came through the windows, and as I said, we were sort of surrounded by them, so we were blocked in. So yeah, it was a scary moment.
We found last year there was particularly quite a few Hawks calls, and they're usually quite emotive ones as well. With the ambulance service in particular, we have to go into those calls. We have to go to make sure that it's not what they're saying.
I can't even...
Ambulance service, is the patient breathing?
Huh?
Is the patient breathing?
No.
Can you tell me exactly what's happened?
Fireworks hit him in his face, he just knocked out.
Pardon?
We were we're on Lambeth Street. We've called a few times. We're getting like scared now. He's gone all cold and pale.
Okay, tell me exactly what's happened.
So there's a bunch of lads they shot a firework at us, and it hit my mate in the face, and now he just dropped on the floor and he's not waking up.
He's been hit in the face with a firework.
Yeah, a big firework.
Just putting those details in now.
Alright, can you come Lambeth Street as soon as possible? I'm very worried.
Okay, we're putting these details in now, and he's not breathing. Hello, you still there? Hello?
Listening to that call, it makes me angry, it makes me sick. People can come up with those sort of excuses to lure emergency services into the situations that they faced. Not only are they calling us, they're actually making up stories about horrendous things to our highest priority calls to get us there and ultimately attack us, and it just beggars belief that someone could do that.
Talking to the crews who went to the incident, that's what they felt after was anger that what they came to work to do was not what they did. They were attacked, and that stayed with them since, you know, because they were there ready to go and help someone, and what they got was somebody attacking them and having absolutely no respect for what they do.
For me personally, I won't forget the night. You know, it was a new sort of scenario for me. It was something slightly different to what my normal role is, but it's something I'll never forget.
And because we're dealing with this, that means we're not then available to actually deal with the people who are in cardiac arrest, who are having a heart attack and a stroke. These are the people that need us quickly, and these are the people that need an early response to stop their condition progressing, the heart attack into cardiac arrest, the stroke where they become disabled.
It's just not worth it for them 2 minutes of having a laugh with your mates. It's just not worth it, and like I say, weeks down the line when we're coming through your house to arrest you, or even at your school in front of your teachers and your mates, they'll all be laughing when you're getting carted away and they're still in school. If this gets to court, then obviously we're looking at criminal convictions, which then affects your future.
These hoax calls are not fake. They really happen. All emergency workers, including us, must respond to these calls, whether suspicious or not, and they set off with the aim of saving lives. Firefighters should not be going there threatened with losing their own lives or for a laugh with your mates. This is one example of ASB. ASB stands for antisocial behaviour. The definition of ASB is an action that has caused or is likely to cause harassment, alarm or distress to any person. There is a bit of a misconception of the phrase antisocial now, as we hear this phrase so often in society. It is now commonly used to describe someone being rude by being on their phone instead of talking to the people in the room or similar. This is very different to antisocial behaviour, or ASB. Just being antisocial, in modern terms, is not a crime. You shan't be arrested for being on your phone instead of talking to people. Examples of ASB. Thinking about the video you just watched, there were many actions taken by people in those situations which were examples of ASB. Let's look at those examples. Deliberately starting fires and environmental damage. This is ASB. Attacks on firefighters or any blue light services. This is ASB. Causing noise and disruption in a public place. This is ASB. Arson with the intent to endanger life. This is ASB. Uncontrolled and/or unsafe use of fireworks. This is ASB. All but one of these are also criminal offences of arson. Arson is when someone deliberately sets fire to someone else's property to damage it or to injure people. The age of criminal responsibility is just 10 years old, meaning you can get a criminal record from the age of only 10. So committing any of these offences could possibly leave you with a criminal record, a long-term prison sentence, and life-changing injuries. Consequences of hoax calls. I want you to talk to the person next to you and then tell your teacher how many fire engines you think there are at your local fire station. And then how many fire stations you think there are in total in the whole of West Yorkshire. Pause the video now to discuss this. Let's see how many of you are right or how close you were. There are only 40 fire stations across the whole of West Yorkshire, and there are only 46 fire engines, meaning 34 of those stations only have one fire engine. Only 6 major stations have 2, so the likelihood is there is only one fire engine at your local fire station, unless you are near a major station, and even then there are only 2. That's only around 1 engine per 17 miles on average, and that's providing none of the 46 have been damaged or the firefighter crew have been injured already by accidental or deliberate firework damage, which means there could be even less available and further distance for them to get to you. So, imagining the following is a map. Let's see a visual example to demonstrate what could happen in the event of a hoax call. Here is your closest fire station, and here is the location of a hoax call. It takes on average just over 7 minutes for a fire engine to reach the scene of an incident. Meanwhile, there is another 999 call for a real incident, a house fire, within Fire Station 1's vicinity. As Fire Station Engine 1 is on the way to the hoax call, Fire Station Engine 2 is called out. Problem is, this is much further away and will take around 20 minutes to reach the real incident location. The average room in a house will take around 3 minutes to fully ignite. If a fire engine can get there in the usual response time, it can get there when only just over 2 rooms have been destroyed by fire, with the good possibility that most people will be rescued. However, in 20 minutes, the whole house could be alight, and it may not be possible to save anyone. Even if the first engine finds out it's a hoax call and only then does the second call take place, they are still now further away than if they'd been travelling from the station itself. All because someone has decided to waste emergency services time, or worse, lure them into danger to intentionally hurt them. Meanwhile, other innocent people may lose their lives. It should only have taken 7 minutes for the fire engine to reach the real incident, which could have avoided a whole house in flames and any loss of life. Like we saw in the video earlier, emergency services being delayed for a hoax call could literally become the difference between life and death for somebody else in a real, life-threatening emergency. What if it was you in the real emergency? How would you feel about the person who had made the hoax call and put you in more danger, or possibly made you lose a loved one as a result. Emergency services can't be everywhere at the same time. Summary. Bonfire night is our busiest time of the year due to accidental and deliberate firework and bonfire emergencies, as well as the many hoax calls we receive. This is on top of all the other usual emergencies like car crashes, normal house fires, animal rescues, people trapped, fallen, etc. We can't be everywhere at the same time. Our advice to you: don't play with fire or fireworks. It can leave you scarred for life, or in prison, or both. Avoid anyone playing with fire or fireworks. Don't gamble your life by throwing those dice. If you are out at night, keep to public paths and lit areas. Avoid getting caught up in ASB and getting a criminal record. And finally, don't make hoax calls or attack emergency services. Let all the emergency services do their job, saving lives. Remember, they all have families too. For our final slide, we're not saying not to enjoy bonfire night and fireworks, but we would advise you to please attend professional displays. Please go to professionally organised events and follow their safety rules. Inform your adults. If adults are thinking of hosting a private celebration, please explain to the adults about the dangers and accidents that you've witnessed today with fireworks and bonfires. And lastly, check safety advice. If the adults still wish to go ahead with a private event, please ask them to visit our website for fireworks safety advice. It is important to add that for all of you here, buying, owning, or even simply holding onto an unlit firework under the age of 18 is illegal. Please bear this in mind on top of all of the other dangers and consequences you have seen today. There is a follow-up session all about the legalities around fireworks for your awareness available on our website under the Learning Resources. Please see this if you'd like to know more. Thank you for listening. I hope this talk has highlighted to you some of the many risks that can take place when using fireworks and/or bonfires, whether accidental or deliberate, and also the many risks to our firefighters due to hoax calls and antisocial behaviour. Please stay safe this bonfire period and avoid getting caught up in any antisocial behaviour. We very much hope that it won't be you that we will be rescuing this year. Thank you.